What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and we got another look for you today. It's a little bit different from the norm, but that's mainly because we had a little bit of a technical difficulty combined with the fact that we also had a meeting that went long in corporate America. So shout out to corporate America for continuing to hold me down. Shout out to equipment problems for trying to hold me down. But guess what? We still here. We still here. They say this ain't your corporate job, Anton. You can't be late like this. Why can't I? Why can't I? You said you like the alternate view? Well, I guess this is what we rocking with today. So, yeah, we got a little bit of a different view today simply because we had some technical difficulties. So I have like 6 different cameras in here that I had to switch up. So that camera seems to be having a little bit of difficulty. You know, it's always something when I switch up from live streaming from home or live streaming from the apartment and all of that. It's like as soon as I come in, everything got to be reconfigured and reset up and all of that. And it ain't even supposed to be like that. It's always based off of software. It's just like something is always wrong. I don't like that junk. But anyways, we here because we don't miss, regardless of what happens. We don't miss, so we here. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feel? How's everybody this morning? Yeah, we gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. We can't miss ever. Under no circumstances do we miss. Can I get a general idea of how y'all feeling today? Interesting weekend, nevertheless. Very, very interesting weekend. They said, what are you streaming from? Your Vision Pro? I think you're missing out. When are you streaming from your Vision Pro? I think you're missing out. I'm not going to stream from my Vision Pro. My Vision Pro it helps me to work quicker and more effectively. I get a lot more done when I'm working on my Vision Pro. Shout out to Perry. You feeling like a dusty Superior Tech TV? Corporate America had us pinging you. Ain't stopping nothing. What up, bag chasers? Great, refreshed, recovery mode, blessed, motivated, awesome, refreshed, encouraged, invested. Shout out to Cartez Cookies. Pensive, galvanized, productive, blessed beyond measure, Greatest F. Sky's the limit, says AR Smitty. What are you sad about, Chelsea? What are you sad about? Feeling like a beast, better, beyond blessed, motivated, Monday, gigantic, energized. I like how y'all speak to each other. Shout out to the Chasers. Can we get a round of applause for the Chasers? Researching, feeling sluggish, still recovering, and weak. Oh, you must have been sick. Powerful, blessed, gradually getting better, super good, feeling amazing, focused, intentional, good, focused. All right, we got a general idea of how y'all feeling out here in these streets, man. You need a couching call or a coaching call? A bit nervous? What you nervous about? Sleepy, clean background, awesome. Not a good tax return. We don't care about that. Ballin', you must have got that check. Patty, awesome future. Crispy. Shout out to the babies, phenomenal. Made it out of bed at least. All right, y'all be acting all extra and down and stuff. Let me acknowledge the people that support the show. Inspired to do better daily, said McCole. Excited, fantastic, tested but glorious. Blessed to see another day. Let me read some of what y'all saying. Shout out to Mike, that dude, for holding me down. I appreciate you. Torrance is in the building. Torrance Daniels. I see you. Psychedelic Sense. Shout out to Psychedelic Sense. I appreciate you. Brian Hunter is in the building. Shout out to you on Cash App. I appreciate the people on Cash App to hold me down. Let me read some of the super chats. Steve says, rest in peace, Eric Mays. Yeah, rest in peace, Eric Mays. I'm very fortunate to have interviewed Eric Mays. And I think that Eric Mays was one of the better interviews that I've ever had because people are always trying to get me to press people on their views because they may have a different view to me. Eric Mays was very, very liberal in his views, not an extreme liberal, but just like a people's kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? In the right way. I think that there's liberal views that you can have that allows for you to still do things the right way, if that means anything to you. And so when I have people on my platform, I usually allow for them to get their thoughts out. It's not for me to press you. It's for me to get the most information out of you. And I think that we did that. We did that. The Eric Mays interview in full has always been up for the Bag Chasers. So the Bag Chasers got that as an exclusive. Shout out to the Patreon members. But we just released it in memory of Eric Mays for the general public. So I don't usually do that, but I did it this time just because I think that his memory and what he stood for needs to really be condensed in the proper way. You know, it's very hard when you got so much content and so many different compilations of the different things that he did, but I wanted him to tell it in his own words, and I had the opportunity to do so, and I got to give Rita some credit because Rita is the one that actually pushed for me to do that interview. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, Anton, you got to do this interview. You got to do this interview. You got to do this interview. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do the interview. I wanted to do the interview. But she was like, no, you got to do it now. It's so crazy how things work out. And she was like, no, you got to get this interview done with Eric Mays now. And she actually is crazy because I missed out again because I was supposed to do a second interview with Eric Mays with somebody else, and I'm not going to say who or anything like that. And I kind of dragged my feet on it because I was so busy doing other things and I was so bogged down with focusing on other things and things like that. So that never actually came to fruition, and that's my fault. But she did. She pushed me to get the interview with Eric Mays, and so we completed it, and it was one of the best interviews that I had did. And so I had the opportunity to kind of memorialize him in his own words in his final interview, which I released to you guys yesterday. And hopefully that interview did him justice. Hopefully his family and his people feel better as a result of it. And rest in peace to Eric Mays. Rest in peace to Eric Mays. Flint City Councilman Eric Mays. Now, we love you. We appreciate you. We got your family up in prayers. So you ain't got to deal with all of the stuff that you was telling me that you was dealing with behind the scenes anymore. Now you can go on and do your thing. Shout out to Eric Mays. Again, I hope everything is better with his family. There's no way for you to actually be able to speak on something so tragically happening, so unexpected. You know what I'm saying? David Williams says, I quit drinking, started working out, started eating healthier, and began investing. Thanks for the inspiration to do and be better. Shout out to you. Shout out to the bag chasers. If you are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Brittany says corporate America had us pinging you. Yeah, corporate is crazy. Bricked Out Media is in the building, says, good morning, nothing but good vibes and bag chasing for Anton and the Chasers. Let's go. Shout out to Bricked Out Media. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop interviewing people based off of, well, I had already stopped doing that. I don't want to interview anybody based off of popularity. I only want to interview people that's meaningful to me. If you're not vibing with me, if I'm not trying to get something specific out of you based off of something else, I don't want to interview just because that's the popular thing to do. It's almost like when everybody else start doing it, then I don't want to do it no more. I only want to have people that come through the studio that I actually vibe with, that I have a different type of connection with. So that's what I'm doing from now on. I'm very, very picky now about the people that I interview. You got to be meaningful to me. Anwar Williams says, rest in peace, Eric Mays. Shout out to Eric Mays. We love you, Eric Mays. I'm glad that I was able to speak with you one-on-one personally and do the interview with you. So shout out to you. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Again, make sure you tap into Tiege Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Tiege, the gift that keeps on giving. Tiege told me that they got me to tell y'all. I got to tell y'all a bunch of other stuff that they got. But I'll tell y'all about that tomorrow because we're a little bit bogged down. So shout out to Tiege Hanley. 30% off your 30% off of your recurring order. I know that for a fact. I did read that part. Tiege Hanley now has 30% off your recurring order. If you're using any other Tiege pack, get rid of it and only roll with mine. The link is in the description, all right? Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Also, on top of that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We love the bag chasers. We love the Patreon members. I got new videos that I'm working for you guys on a regular basis. So make sure you get that Patreon bag. It is awesome, and the people speak highly of it. I don't even have to say it. You know what it is. Let's get into it. So we're going to do a little bit of a condensed quick hits, but then we got a lot more other stuff that we got to get to because there was so much that happened over the weekend. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into quick hits. Quick hits, not this particular segment, but it's a part of the show where we want to just quickly give you some insight on what's going on out in these streets, man. So first things first on quick hits is California State University and universities across California is seeing a significant drop in enrollment. Check it out, y'all.
City campuses, especially the ones in the Bay Area, are enrolling far fewer students these days. It's a trend that began in 2019 and made worse with the pandemic. KTV's Tom Vakar spent the day looking at the hard numbers that both universities and students are facing in the rapidly evolving world of higher education. Tom.
Rapidly evolving. By the end of this decade, consider this, many economists predict that the U.S. will be at least 8 million college graduates short of the number needed to create and manage critical new technologies. For many generations, Americans believed that a college degree was the promise of a better life on many levels.
That's what I was told, that you go to school to get a degree, and then after that degree, you start earning money, but that's not always exactly the case, as we know.
Former Golden Gate University Business School Dean and author of a book critical of higher education, Tiege Hanley, says this.
In 2010, the broad American population, regardless of their politics, really expected, wanted their children to go and complete college, okay? Right now, that number is less than half.
The nonprofit Campaign for College Opportunity found that CSU's 23 campuses' statewide enrollment declined by 6.5%, almost 28,000 fewer students. Locally, Sonoma State's enrollment is down 34%. CSU East Bay down 25%. San Francisco State down 20%. On top of that, the face of the student body is changing. White student enrollment declined by 13.1%. Black student count was down 5.4%. Asian students down 4.1%, while the Latino student count was up 4.1%. All of this made far worse by the I word.
We've had inflation, including the continued and even excess inflation in the cost of going to college, even at state schools.
I think it's always worrying about money. That's firsthand, because then you have to pay off like loans if you're taking any.
Conley says crushing debt crushes amassing other wealth.
Right now, you can't even get in the door of buying a house if you've got the kind of student loan burdens that people are carrying.
Conley says the few able to go to elite schools such as Stanford or Harvard will do just fine. But in the real world, many cost-conscious students have opted to enroll in community colleges, often with the promise that a traditional university will take them to complete their degrees.
To get the same courses at a CSU or as a UC, and they're going to transfer you in anyway.
So that's the general idea of it. The general idea is that enrollment in colleges are down across the board, but in addition to that, enrollment in colleges in California are down significantly, above 34%, right? And so isn't it funny, isn't it ironic that when we have these conversations, what people are starting to do and what you're starting to see the shift in is things that I already did 15 years ago. 15, 20 years ago was the things that I was already doing 10 years ago. Stuff that I've been advising people since I got on YouTube. The things that I've lived my life by is the things that people are starting to adjust to. So it's a couple different points that we need to take away from this, right? What has Anton been saying? Well, number one, I said that university enrollment was going to decline because the quality of the education or the quality of student life on these campuses is going to nosedive based off of these liberal policies. And when I say liberal policies, I'm not even talking about politics. I'm talking about the mindset of the educators and the legislative bodies that are determining the curriculums that's happening at these universities, meaning that they're indoctrination camps. And parents are starting to realize that they didn't send their kids to school to get slutted out. They sent their kids to school to get educated based off of what they're trying to go into from a curriculum. Education, business, STEM programs. And so these large universities largely were opportunities for them to continue to siphon money from students. And what you've seen during the pandemic, because even a lot of these community colleges, because I coach a lot of people all across America, and even the best community college in Michigan, they're selling campuses and starting to readjust what their curriculums are to more or less better suit the student body. They know that people are going to school online, and so they're adjusting. Just like everything, just like things in business, just like everything. The only thing that you don't see an adjustment in is government bodies and legislative branches, because they always continue to grow because the taxpayers, and they don't have to be accountable for how it is that they're spending. But when you see adjustments starting to be made based off of student budgets and enrollment, the market is going to dictate what people are going to do. And so I said it a long time ago, hey, you don't have to get a bunch of student loans. You can go to school and get an associate's degree and then transfer after you get your 2-year degree to go into a major university, limit the amount of money that you spend, make sure you stay home, don't have to live on campus. You don't have to take out a whole bunch of student loans. You can still work while you're doing it. You can take your time and actually do your classes. And so I've been given this blueprint based off of how I've lived my life for a long time. I've been given a blueprint of how it is that you can still be educated, because it's not that college is bad. It's the way that we look at and then take on debt in order to get an education that makes it bad for us. Anything can be bad when you don't have temperance and you're not looking at it from a business perspective. And so what you see happening is, number one, well, it's a storm. It's the perfect storm. People are getting sick of the cost inflation. Secondly, indoctrination camps. Third, they don't feel like they're getting the true value of it because they spent too much money. Fourth, student loan debt is crushing people. But here's the caveat. Here's the fifth thing. When you look at the universities that are still thriving, regardless of the lower enrollment that's happening over in California and the fact that there's an exodus in population from states like California, when you look at the top universities, the the Yales, the Harvards, the MITs, the Princetons, people are still willing to invest a significant amount of money to go there. Why? Because the market dictates that when you get a higher quality education and you're actually intentional on how you're going to use that education, it still can be a great investment for you. So a lot of people are always saying that college is not necessarily a good thing just because of all of the debt that they get into, and that's not true. College is a phenomenal thing when you actually use it intentionally, just like everything else. A car can be a bad thing if you go into a whole lot of debt as a result of getting it, but a car can be a very powerful tool if you utilize it correctly and you don't overspend in order to impress people that's not even doing anything for you. A house can be a very good thing if you don't over leverage how much you're making and then raise up the amount that you're going to pay on your mortgage just because you can afford it. Instead, you get what you need in order to continue to make sure that you can live, and then you make informed decisions on how you're going to allocate your resources to better make sure that it aligns with your lifestyle. So it's not that college is bad. College is not bad. Shout out to the Dr. Cloud in the building. College is not bad. Education is not bad. Even debt don't necessarily have to be bad, but how you leverage this information, how you leverage these tools can be the determining factor for whether or not you're successful in life. It's still a fact, and it depends on the curriculum that you go into. It's still a fact that people that have a college education significantly make more money in a lifetime than people that don't. So all a degree is an opportunity for you to get the basic training, and it gets you in the door. It's not supposed to secure your job for the rest of your life. You still have to do a good job. You still have to pick the right curriculum. You still have to network effectively, but it's one force, one factor, one tool that allows for you to be successful in your career. So don't look at education as bad. Look at the way that you've been picking your curriculum and how you've been becoming educated as horrible. Be intentional, be very, very strategic, and then continue to enroll based off of what you need and where it is that you're going, and be able to endure long enough to get to the results. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, that is your quick hits. All right, let me read a couple more super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show because we got like 6 different things that we want to talk about throughout the show today. No one wants to go into debt to learn about identity politics. Then don't go into identity politics. Stop going into African American studies and get your degree on cloud engineering or cybersecurity or become an anesthesiologist. There's still a huge demand and a lack of educated professionals that are filling these positions, and you can make as much money as you want. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Devin Braxton. I appreciate you. What up, Dr. Cloud? Says, great morning, showing love. Oh, man, we got to bring Dolton to the front of the congregation, even though I know you don't stay there. We still got to bring Dolton. Shout out to Dr. Cloud in the building. Traveling Tony is in the building, says, I seen it coming, so I moved to Africa. I moved to Africa. I just bought my wife land and am building a house for my kid. The military paid for my master's. Hashtag. That is a great point. I don't know why more men, not women, and I got this little rant that I recorded today that I'm going to drop on the Anton Daniels channel. I don't know why more men don't leverage the military to pay for their education. Why don't more men leverage the military to pay for their education? You need some structure in your life anyway. You need some structure in your life anyway. Neither here nor there. We'll go there. We'll go there. Traveling Tony, thank you for supporting the platform. Thank you for continuing to hold me down, my friend. Let's get into the show. So first things first, before I deep dive into the show, before I go into the Fani Willis text messages, the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I kind of mentioned on the Anton Daniels channel yesterday, but I'm going to mention it again today. And it starts with a video that speaks to the revitalization and the tearing down of homes in Gary, Indiana, that is. Shout out to Brittany. Shout out to Brittany. Let me show you what's happening in Gary, Indiana, and that's the mayor. This is the mayor of Gary, Indiana, all right? I want to show you what's happening in Gary, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts.
Well, today, Gary, Indiana is breaking ground on a new neighborhood stabilization effort.
The mayor will be speaking this morning, sharing his vision for redevelopment in the neighborhood. Joni joins us live with more details.
Good morning. morning. Well, the mayor has already put his words into action. There are construction trucks all around this neighborhood we're standing in, knocking down vacant homes. They started with this one right here in the 1st District. This is the Etna neighborhood of Gary, and they started the demolition on this house. Nobody really knows just how long some of these buildings have been vacant. They're estimating 20 to 30 years, but now they're paving the way for the new future of Gary, Indiana. Here's some video we have of this house coming down. This is what's going to be happening all over this neighborhood. They are going to be working on several homes. They've got 7 teams, construction teams, who volunteered their time to help knock down the vacant homes, remove the blight in Gary, address the blight, and make way for new development. The 8 different companies volunteered, and then the person who started all this, his name is Jim Wiseman, and he is with a road construction company. He told me everyone said yes, let's do it. They started now because it's sort of winter.
Brittany, I know you in Fort Wayne, baby. I'm just saying that Indiana in general, honey.
Time when they're usually slow, and so now they are actually doing it. This is a neighborhood where he grew up, and he wants it to be reborn into the beautiful neighborhood that he grew up in. Here's Mayor Eddie Melton talking about the project.
In our first 100 days, we made sure that we reached out to our community partners. Reith Riley was the first corporation that we sat down and had a conversation with and figured out how can we collaborate and address some long-term issues that the city has.
Let me give a shout out to Mayor Eddie Melton. Let me give you a round of applause. I want to start highlighting the people that are doing well in their cities. Eddie Melton. Mayor Eddie Melton was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. I know that he may not even know that I know who he is, but I am familiar with who he is because I know that he's recently assumed the office of mayor in Gary, Indiana this year. And he's a very educated, well-spoken community advocate and a person that is absolutely suited, in my opinion, and best for the position. So I want to, in addition to holding these politicians accountable, because I do believe that we need to spend the majority of our time highlighting the solutions just as much. We have to have a balance on highlighting the solutions and people that are doing well. In addition to the people that need to get out of office, we need to remove the corruption and then also highlight and give acknowledgement to the people that are doing well, because, you know, if we only spend our time on the negative and we're not giving just as much acknowledgement to the positive, then what incentive do people have to continue to do the right thing, right? So I want to give a little bit of a props to Mayor Eddie Melton of Gary, Indiana. I go and visit Gary. I visited Gary several times. I haven't visited Gary since before the pandemic, but I do plan on making my way down there because I documented it and I highlighted some of the good things that was happening over in the city. I love the fact that they are taking initiative and charge, and they're not waiting for anybody to come and save them. Let me say that again. They're not waiting for anybody to come and save them. Let me go ahead and play the rest of this clip, and then we're going to get into what my thoughts are on Gary, Indiana, and the Midwest in general.
We know we have a significant amount of blighted structures, and there's only a couple of ways that we can address that. Number one is having the right finances to do that, which we're working with the state and the federal government, but also pulling some of our corporate partners to the table. So we're happy that all of these contractors have volunteered their services, so we're going to demolish close to 40 homes today.
They're demolishing more than 40 blighted homes today. Let's continue. The last time that I went to Gary, there was a significant amount of redevelopment that was happening in the city, but let's continue.
So they just restarted the work here. You know, they targeted 85 homes in this neighborhood alone for demolition, and they went to the owners, and some of the owners said, no, we would like to rehab our property, so they're giving them the chance to do that. But at least 35 are going to come down this week here in the Etna neighborhood. This is right next to Miller Beach. Miller Beach is a beautiful area right along Lake Michigan, and they feel like this could be a beautiful neighborhood as well. You're watching the demolition of the first house here in the 1st District of Gary. Reporting live.
Now, I know that this is not going to get any kind of visibility unless I leverage my platform and my visibility in order to do so. And I'm okay with that. That's what we'll do, right? We'll take out the trash shortly, but I just want to make sure that I acknowledge these people. And it kind of speaks to a bigger thing that I was talking about yesterday. You know, I was out and about yesterday in the city, and it was thriving. I mean, I don't know if a lot of y'all seen the video that I dropped on the Anton Daniels channel. You probably didn't. But it was absolutely thriving. It was a Sunday morning / afternoon. It was like 1:30, 2 p.m. And it was construction going on. And it was so many people. And it was a melting pot. And I was hearing conversations because I anticipated actually having a conversation and talk about something completely different. But I was hearing conversations from the people that was walking up and down the street. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe that Detroit is like this. But I'm going to just tell you, it's not just Detroit. It's a lot of places that's starting to really thrive. And the thing that I was inspired to have a conversation about with you guys on camera yesterday, which I changed my message to speak more to that because I was right there in the middle of it. And I myself have personally moved into downtown Detroit. And I have never left my state or my city. And I've always had some sort of a residence or some sort of business here. And I've decided to live, work, and play all in the same city and spend the majority of my time here. And I see so much change from when I was younger. And it's incredible to see the amount of people that was so excited. And it was full on a Sunday. It was full. Every street was full, and it was full of traffic, and people was having fun, and it was ice skating, and you know, they were at the shops and stuff. And I was just like, I was so proud that I was a part of the fabric that never left, but instead decided to make sure that I became a part of the culture, a small part of the culture that happened in the city. And it's not just happening here. It's happening in a lot of places. I see it happening in Cleveland. I see it happening in Cincinnati. I see it happening in Columbus. I see it happening in Pittsburgh. I see it happening in portions of Indiana. Milwaukee, believe it or not, Milwaukee is absolutely doing their thing. And it's crazy. And the real conversation that we need to be having is, why are we always culturally last and we play Me Too when it comes to revitalizing, or we waiting? A couple different things, and then we're going to go into Fani Willis. We always want to wait for somebody to come and save us. Nobody is coming to save you. If you want different in your city, in your neighborhood, in your community, then you're going to have to do the thing that's different, revitalize, get the beam out of your own eye, and stop running away from your problems, because contrary to popular belief, you still take you with you. Let me say that again. Contrary to popular belief, when you leave, you still take yourself with you. So everybody that ran from all of the places that they thought that they can get away from, they ran down to Atlanta and they ruined that. Now they running down to Houston and they ruining that. They down there in Florida and they say, we don't want you in Florida. Californians is running away from the thing that they voted for in California. San Francisco is dying. Oakland is dying. All of these places is starting to fall apart. But the money has already been invested in a lot of these places. And when you see what's changed, because we don't have any more blighted buildings here. We don't have any more commercial real estate property in downtown Detroit for you to invest in anymore. It's already bought. Is there still opportunities and stuff? Absolutely. Pittsburgh was thriving. I went to Pittsburgh years ago when I started to love Pittsburgh. And I was telling people, I said, man, Pittsburgh is awesome. You know how awesome Pittsburgh is? I was down in Cleveland. I went over to Milwaukee. I don't just visit the popular places. If you want to see change, you know who's selling crack in your communities. You know what's happening in your cities. You know who the jack boys are. You know what's going on. Oh, man, I'm going to just run over here. Okay, so you going to run over and you one of the jack boys. Now, all of the scammers is down in Atlanta now. Good, because the minute that y'all all left, then that's when we started to change and we revitalized the city. I'm driving down the street in my car because I was in a Porsche yesterday. And the dude like, oh, man, you remember me? I was like, nah, I'm sorry. You know, because I was polite. I was sipping on my hot chocolate that I had just got from the local bakery that's in downtown Detroit. And he said, oh, man, I'm such and such. I used to go to school with you. I left here and I ran over to California. And so my first thing that I asked him, and this is the honest to God truth, I said, what you doing back here? Because I be trying to understand. I honestly be trying to know. Like, if you left, why you here? What you doing back here? Oh, I'm thinking about coming back, and plus I got family here and stuff. And it's like, nah, stay over where you was at in California. We good. We built from within, from the people that was already here, from the people that really wanted to be here. And so now we thriving and we good. It's like, oh, now people want to run back. Oh, I left. Oh, I want to come back. No, you good. You good. What you doing here? Why you now feel the need to come and visit? Oh, you remember me? I don't. I do remember the people that stayed and grind and hustled. I called my guy yesterday. I said, yo, you know that I moved back down into the city in the downtown. He said, yeah, I'm coming back from Hawaii on Monday. Let's link up. Let's run it up. We gonna get money together. We cool. And the worst part about it, and then I'm gonna move over to Fani. The interesting thing about it is that everybody want to move to places that they can't even afford to move to. That's the interesting part about it. Why are y'all trying to run to California? You can't afford to live there. And then you want to sit there and complain about inflation and affordability. The place where you were supposed to be is the place where you was born and raised. And that's not for everybody. I'm saying it's okay for you to move and go and explore different things and see where it is that you want to go to. But what I'm saying is you can't have your cake and eat it too. Don't sit here and complain to me about the affordability of being able to live in places that you can't afford to be in, but you just want to be a part of. And then want to sit here and say, well, it's the government's fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. You can't afford to be down there in Miami. I'm being real with you. You can't afford to be there. You can't afford to be in the places that you want to live in, but you run into it. And then you're going to live in the ghetto there. They said, Anton, you a big fish in a small pond. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Listen, I love my city. I love my city. I love it to my core. It's people that I don't even necessarily care for or right away get along with, but you can't even get me to talk negatively about them. You know why? Because they from the city. And so any problem that I have with them, I can call them and solve for it offline than I can online. It's some popular people in the city that I wind up having to call offline in order to solve for a problem because I didn't necessarily care about them. I'm not going to talk about them online. I'm not going to talk about the things that I love or the people that's a part of the fabric of the city just because I may have a disagreement with them. I'm going to call them. I'm cool with being okay and being relatively significant in my city. I don't have to run out there. And I went and visited Miami and I lived in Miami during the pandemic because it was open, but I'd rather spend more time focused on growing in my own culture in my own city. And I can go and visit Miami. I'll get a second place in certain places, but I'm not about to go and run to no place that ain't raised me. These are the places that my tax dollars are a part of. I'm a part of the fabric. I understand the city. I know what streets that's significant. I'd rather invest in my own and be able to afford it. I can afford to comfortably live here, and I have no problems whatsoever. And then we always last. And then 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they're going to be like, oh man, let's go. It's too late. It's too late. The property values have appreciated 3,000%. It's too late. It's too late. You always last to the party. You always leave, get rid of, sell, let your grandparents and your parents' property get dilapidated. Then you want to come back and move back and say, oh man, look how they changed the neighborhood. They changed it because you left it and you made it available and cheap for them to take it and buy it up. So now they've redeveloped it and profited off of it. And they gentrified it not based off of their ability to gentrify it, but your willingness to give it up. And then you want to complain about it. You can't complain about the thing that you've been a part of. You can't complain about the thing that you left. Oh man, I want to run over here and spend all of my money over here where people ain't even checking for me. Have y'all ever heard of the small city dilemma that's happening over in LA? Y'all ain't never heard of that? The small city dilemma over there in LA is this. You from a smaller city or you from a smaller town outside of Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is it's similar in Miami and all of that, right? And so what happens was you was the man in your city, and usually it happens to women more than men. You was the man in your city, and then you ran off over into a completely different city. You ran to a different city, or you ran over to LA because you was the man and you was like, oh, I'm the popular girl in school. I'm going to go to LA and be the one and be the model. And then you get over to LA and you realize you really a 4 in LA or Miami. You not what you was in your city. You was good in your city. You was the man, homie. You a 4. What you think is money over where they at. Listen, I'm cool. I take my little money. I'm good where I'm at. I'm cool. I ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody. You go over to Miami, everybody got what you got. Your car is like an Altima in Miami. You go over to LA and you realize you just a adjustable 5 in LA because everybody in LA is clicked up and they got way better people that look way better than you, and now you feeling lonely because you used to be the man where you were. Stop trying to run to go and do things to impress people that ain't got no interest in you. You ain't even it. You're going to be strung out. The streets is going to have its way with you, and you don't realize that you asking for something that you're not ready for. You asking for something that you're not ready for. You think that you're ready to go out there. The streets is going to swallow you up. Stay home. Stay home. And this is not for everybody. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I got to speak to the majority, not the minority. Stay home. That small city, where the boy loved you and he was willing to marry you and he was a small town boy and he was going to be good for you, you're going to be just like that girl on Tyler Perry's Temptation. Somebody going to take you on a private jet, bust you down, give you HIV, AIDS, and then you're going to regret the fact that the small town pharmacist, the real pharmacist, not the one that's selling drugs, the one that actually went to school for pharmacy, the small town pharmacist who was best for you went and got married to somebody else that was your competition in high school. Stay out of that. That ain't for you. You can't afford to live there. You can't afford to swim with the big fish. You're going to get swallowed up. Swallowed up. Dolphins, sharks, and whales out there willing to wreck your life. And you so busy wanting to run. No, you good. You good. Anyways, shout out to Mayor Eddie Melton doing great things over there in Gary, Indiana. I got to salute you, and I will always want to continue to salute the people that's doing great things. Let me continue to move into the show. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Let's get into the show, y'all. So, Fani. Yeah. Shout out to Fani. Let me give you a little bit of a ding. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Who called it? From the very beginning, I said that these people are lying. I don't care what y'all think and how powerful of a position or how sassy they get on the stand. These people are lying. I know, look, I don't care what position you have. I don't care if you're Fulton County DA. I know a modern woman when I see one. I know a woman that's for the streets when I see one. You ain't fooling me. You can't fool me, Fani, at all.
Some breaking news right now at noon. A private investigator hired by former President Donald Trump's Georgia attorneys alleged more than 2,000 phone calls and just under 12,000 text messages took place between Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and her special prosecutor Nathan Wade before he was hired. This morning, Trump attorneys Steve Sadow and Jennifer Little filed an affidavit in Fulton County Superior Court from Charles Middlestad. That's a 59-year-old criminal defense investigator who's now been hired to provide a voice call and text history for Nathan Wade. Wade and Willis engaged in a now acknowledged, I should say, a romantic relationship, but the couple claim that their relationship began after Willis hired Wade to assist in her investigation and subsequent indictment of Trump and his allies. This story is developing by the minute, and you can read more on this new filing on our free Atlanta News app and, of course, on the free website, atlantanewsfirst.com.
You can't fool me, bro. You can't fool me. Look, I know a chick for the streets when I see one. I told y'all, and I seen so many people hit me up on Instagram. So many people DM me, Anton, you don't know. They had a relationship later. It really didn't matter. Nothing was going on. It was above board. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Just curious. Just curious. 2,000 plus text messages. Now, when Nathan Wade got up on the stand, he gave us a completely different picture. He said, listen, man, she was just hitting me up occasionally to be like, hey, how would you handle this case? Or what's going on out here? No, that ain't what happened. Before he was ever hired for the case, Nathan Wade was over there begging. He said, please, Freaky Jason, please, 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 Freaky Jason. I don't even trust the judge. You know why? Because the judge is a human being, and the judge gave to their campaign fund. The judge, the very judge. I said, what is this judge doing? Why is this judge so heavily in favor of trying to prevent these questions from coming across to Fani and Nathan Wade? Why is the judge allowing for this? I've never seen that happen. Not in any live. They wasn't even doing that in the OJ case. I said, oh, so the judge actually gave money to their causes. Okay. So they all in bed together. Shout out to ATL. Shout out to Georgia. Cool. I'm sorry, 12,000. You right, Kenya. Sometimes I get my words mixed up. 12,000. 12,000 text messages. Do you know what kind of texting you doing? I don't even like texting. Rita would tell you, I don't even like texting. 2,000 phone calls and 12,000 text messages in 11 months. I don't even like text messaging. People be hitting me up with the wave. How come girls always do this one? They hit you with the wave. 12,000 text messages. But wasn't nothing going on. Nothing inappropriate. No issues, no problems. Just 12,000 text messages, right? Jesus Christ. And y'all still on our side? Y'all still rocking? We all on the same page? I just want to make sure we all on the same page.
An explosive court filing in Atlanta today, now raising new questions about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and the relationship that she had with the special prosecutor that she hired to oversee the election interference case against former President Donald Trump. Cell phone data obtained by Trump's legal team shows Nathan Wade, that special prosecutor, visited Willis's neighborhood at least 35 times in the 11 months before Willis hired him in 2021. Twice, Wade arrived late at night and left early the following morning. The data shows about 2,000 calls and 12,000 text messages between Wade and Willis from January to November 20.
So he arrived late at night. Let me guess, y'all was talking about legal stuff, right? He arrived late at night and then he left early in the morning. I'm curious, what do y'all think that conversation was about? Or do y'all think that was any kind of conversation at all? Because, see, the cell phone towers don't lie. The cell phone towers don't lie. He arrived late at night and he left early in the morning. Now, I'm assuming that he had to go and take care of some business because he had to go and take care of work, right? He said, I thought, wait a minute. See, here's the context. Because, see, we all have revisionist history and memories, okay? They admitted that they was busting it down after they forced the opening of a sealed divorce proceeding, which is abnormal. And it took the ex-wife of exposing him before they ever even admitted that they was in a relationship in the first place, which violated ethics, moral clauses, especially when it comes to the amount of money that they were being paid. He filed for divorce literally one day after he got the contract with the state. And then they also jumped on it because you know me. I remember she was on the panel. He was on the panel when they was lying. They said, listen, everything that they did as far as her paying him back was in cash. Oh, if this isn't the most crooked thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. If this is, what's up, Q? We got the Q show tonight. Make sure y'all tab into the Q show. If this is not the most crooked thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, I don't know what is. Lies. Even the Fulton County District Attorney is a scammer. Even the prosecuting attorneys are scammers down there in Georgia. Shout out to Georgia.
2021. Why this matters, the timeline is everything in this case. Joining me now on the phone is former Assistant District Attorney of Fulton County, Daryl Cohen. Daryl, thanks for joining us. We sat and watched as this hearing originally.
We gonna switch cameras too, y'all. All right, we about to switch cameras. I'm gonna switch over to the G camera real quick.
Started. What do you make of these new revelations?
This is damning. At the very best, it's troubling. It seems to completely contradict the testimony of both Fani Willis and of Nathan Wade. And because of that, this could be a complete game changer in terms of how Judge McAfee decides to rule.
The timeline here, the timeline is extremely important. Get viewers up to speed about why this timeline matters.
Well, it matters because the testimony has been that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade became friends. They met at a conference, and he was hired before any of this took place, and that they did not have any type of relationship other than completely a business relationship.
Cap.
Now, if these texts and if these pings on the telephone are accurate,
they are.
That changes the entire ball.
Now, I done seen every ping on a telephone pole be accurate when it come to trying to find out whether or not somebody got killed, all of that stuff, right? But for some reason, it might not be accurate on this one. Okay.
Game and means that there could be some untruth that's been told under oath.
An untruth.
In other words, it could be
like unalive or unhoused untruth.
And I hope it isn't, because this is very sad.
Yeah, I mean, at the heart of the matter, really, then, in this case right now, this has nothing to do with the actual case against Donald Trump and the other co-defendants in the election interference case. This
has everything
to do
with it.
If Fani Willis, the district attorney, benefited financially from hiring who we know now.
And they need to be under the jail.
So that's why the timeline of this is so important. If it happened before, then there's a problem. If it happened after, it might be a problem as far as optics are concerned, but not necessarily something that would get the office kicked off this case. Now, let's just say the Fani Willis's entire office gets removed from this case. What happens next?
Then it goes to the prosecutor's counsel, and they locate a district attorney's office who is capable and willing of prosecuting the case. That could be near impossible. Clayton County District Attorney has already said she cannot handle it. That leaves DeKalb County, Cobb County, and that's about it, because it has to be a large office that has the ability and the people to prosecute it, and the budget, because the budget's going to just explode with this type of case.
So you're saying it could get thrown out altogether?
I'm not saying that, but it could. This is predictably unpredictable.
Right.
None of this had been predicted, but it's taking on a case. It's a case that's taking on its own course, and we have no idea why it did what it did, but it's...
I know why it did. Y'all want me to tell you why this case is taking its own course and the turn that it's taking right now? Because God is good. All the time. Let me bring y'all up to speed this morning as to what is happening today. They are having closed door meetings as to what's going to happen.
Happening today, the effort to remove Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade from the Georgia 2020 election interference case will pick back up today. Ariana Manish joining us live this morning with the latest on this case here. Good morning, Ariana.
Good morning, Aisha. Judge Scott McAfee, he will meet behind closed doors with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade's former attorney, Terrence Bradley. Now, this will happen behind closed doors, so we won't see the firing and compelling testimony that we saw at the initial hearing. And this is all as defense attorneys are questioning when Nathan Wade and Fani Willis started dating.
Why are they meeting behind closed doors? I want everything public. I don't want no more closed door meetings. It's bad enough that we had to leverage technology to even find out that he was leaving late into the night and texting. You know how much texting you got to be? You can't even be that busy. You know how busy that they said that they was and that he wasn't going to be able to do this and do that. You know what you got to be doing to text 12,000 text messages to one person? To one person in 11 months? $365 days in a year, right? Let's just do the math real quick. I'm going to do the math while this is talking. Don't worry.
Prosecutor Nathan Wade's former attorney, Terrence Bradley, will meet privately with Judge McAfee as defendants in the election interference case continue their quest to get DA Fani Willis and Wade disqualified for having an alleged relationship before Wade's appointment to the case. Attorneys for the defense believe Bradley can prove Willis and Wade's romantic relationship began earlier than what Wade and Willis testified. Bradley took the stand during the initial hearing but invoked attorney-client privilege and said he cannot speak to Wade's relationship without putting his law license at risk.
Advised by the bar that Rule 1.6 of confidentiality applies and that I cannot reveal anything that I saw or learned.
That is the equivalent of 35 text messages a day. 35 text messages a day times 30 is over 1,000 text messages a month. 1,000, because y'all got to remember, this was only in an 11-month span. This was not an entire 365-day a year. So you got to do it by 335 days. So 335 days, assuming that it wasn't one of the longer months, 335 days, you divide 12,000, because it was more than 12,000. So 12,000 divided by 335 will get you roughly 35 to 38 text messages a day, 1,050 text messages per month. Anybody that's ever tried to text me know that Anton don't even respond to the next day. That's a fact, though.
Attempted to block additional questioning, arguing private questioning by Judge McAfee may unlawfully compel Bradley to break attorney-client privilege. The timeline of Wade and Willis's relationship has been the main point of focus.
And y'all got to remember, that's also only one person. And he was leaving in the night. Leaving in the early morning and coming in the night like a thief. He came like a thief in the night.
Attorneys. While Wade and Willis insist they started dating in 2022, lawyers representing former President Donald Trump claim new cell phone evidence can prove otherwise.
Listen, I don't want no more closed door meetings. I'm tired of everything happening behind closed doors. I don't want anybody sitting there telling me and gaslighting me anymore, acting like these people are above board and they not. They dirty, they nasty, they filthy. They out here busting it down for a real one, and they spending taxpayer dollars. Bro, you can't. I don't even care. I'm going to be honest with you. None of this matters, okay? I don't care who you busting down or what you cheating on or what you got going on in your own bedroom. That does not matter to me. That matters zero, zilch nada, until it starts to impact whether or not he got money from it on taxpayer dime, and then as a result, they have an agenda in order to try to prosecute falsely the former president of the United States to prevent us from being able to determine whether or not we want to vote him in office. And that's why it matters. I can care less how much D you sucked, how many people you was busting down. I don't care if they ran a train on you. I don't know if y'all was doing 2 a days, 1 a days. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is it happening on taxpayer dime? Are you ethical because you hold a public office? Are you using people's money that's not yours in order to pay for your frolicking and your vacation? Are you lying on the stand, and are you falsely prosecuting somebody that shouldn't be in court in the first place? That's why it matters. That's why it matters. Straight up. And you was busting it down for a real one. Let's move on from Fani because we know that these people are crooked. I want to read a couple of super chats and then we're going to get started with the show. That's just a warm-up. Anton about to join a meeting. Look at me. I'm about to join a meeting. I'm in the meeting. I ain't even going to cap. I'm in the meeting while I'm in the meeting. I'm in the meeting while I'm in the meeting. I ain't even going to cap. Look, I'm in the meeting. You see my computer right now? All of y'all like, Anton, no, I'm going to make adjustments. Anton, you not in this meeting? Listen, I'm in the meeting. I'm listening. Let me make sure I join. Join meeting. Core team meeting, 1 p.m. We're going to get there. I see you. I see you in the room, Kelly. Kelly is there early inside of the meeting. We in corporate right now, but we going to continue to do what we do. Let me go ahead and lower the volume of that because we don't want the volume coming in. We don't need to know what they talking about. We just want to make sure that we in the meeting. Anton is in the meeting. Oh, y'all don't think I'm in the meeting? I ain't about to show I ain't about to show y'all what the meeting I'm in. Yeah, but I'm in the meeting. Woo! I'm in the meeting. Corporate America right there. Got a whole nother computer popping. All right. Amon5 says Midwest is cheap to invest in, but the jobs have all left. So you might be, what are you talking about? The jobs has not left. It's thriving. It's so many jobs, and most of the people are working remotely anyway. Anyways, it's not buying and holding. We're buying in order to maintain a lifestyle, my dog. Y'all got to change our mindset. Amon5. Sister. Liar, liar, Princess Bride. Yes, that's correct, sis. Thank you, my love. I'm off camera. I'm 100% off camera. I see all of the people in. I see my manager just joined. We here. Shout out to sister. Food, fashion. Let me make sure I'm off camera. Make sure that my mic is muted. Food, fashion, women in sports says from Yonkers getting it in, and Dayton, Ohio Metro, love Pittsburgh, Columbus, and Indy. As far as real estate, you are telling no lies. Get it while it's hot. I'm not going to mention it again because I don't want them to make it seem like I'm recruiting. Quick 504 says they was doing a late night fellowship prayer. He was coming to bless. He was coming to bless her apartment. He was coming to pray for her apartment. Hey, don't let no pastor come and pray for y'all apartment with your wife in there. Yo, shout out to Yuck Mouth. I was kicking it with Yuck Mouth the other day. Sister says, Mr. AD, what happens in the dark, come out to the light. That's a fact. That is absolutely a fact. Mr. Lot says, a whole new meaning to the term Trump card. That's a fact. Blaze Skywalker in the building says, as much as I want Fani to go to jail for perjury, I believe the judge is going to rule in her favor. The game is rigged, big dog. Nope. I don't believe it. I believe that the judge understands that his head is on the chopping block too, so he got to make the adjustment. Jamal Park says, just curious, can you do a Patreon video of how much your penthouse costs? If I don't have to do a Patreon video, I can tell you exactly how much my penthouse is. I pay a little less than $11,000 a month for my penthouse. I don't mind showing you. I pay a little less than I don't have to do a Patreon video. I can tell you. I don't have no secrets. I pay a little less than $11,000 a month. Might even be able to show it to you. Let's see. You can see my security deposit and everything like that. So it's like, well, this was prorated because I came in on a 6 instead of coming in on the 1st. So I pay a little bit more than somewhere between $10,000 and $11,000 a month for my penthouse. So that's what I pay for mine. Anyways, let's continue. But that's not how much all of the other units cost. That's just mine in general. Antonio Watkins says all 12,000 was Bible verses, Anton. Shout out to him. Yes. Yes. And it's actually a corporate apartment for one of my businesses. So it's not mine. It's not my name. It's not my wife's name or nothing. It's actually a corporate apartment. So it's actually in one of my business names. So that's true. That is true. Craig G says, just finished my workout. Stay blessed. Shout out to Craig G. I appreciate you. JC Cuts is in the building, says, what's Fanny's nickname? We're going to have to come up with one. We're going to have to come up with Fani. We're going to have to come up with Fani's nickname. I show all of my receipts. Unless I'm putting it up on Patreon as an exclusive, then I usually show everything. I don't have any secrets. Y'all can know how much I make. You can know what my deposits are. You can know what I got in my bank account, my brokerage account. You can know everything. I have no secrets. So anytime anybody want to know anything, if it's not in the Patreon and if I don't mind just showing it in a general sense, if it's not a business transaction that I'm being very, very careful about, then I don't mind showing my receipts. Ray says, you see that Omar Lay video? I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is whatsoever. So you're going to have to educate me. All right. So let's pivot for a second. Let's go over to Tiffany. Tiff. Let's talk about Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard is the gift that keeps on giving. I personally did not know that Tiffany would be the gift that keeps on giving, but Tiff is definitely. What is Omar Lay? Let me look this up now. Now y'all got me curious. Omar Lay? Omar Lay. Nigerian singer, songwriter. What is Omar Lay? I still don't understand what this is. What is this supposed to be? Oh, so I guess some guy's girl was up on the stage. I heard about that during a London concert. All right, yeah, it's not a Millionaire Morning Show conversation, but Q can figure out if that's what she want to do. She can talk about that. Tiffany Henyard. Let's get into Tiffany Henyard, y'all. We got a lot to cover today, so let's get it popping.
Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is launching what she calls the most entertaining political podcast ever.
Yes, but this all comes as she is being investigated by the FBI for allegations of corruption. Roseanne joins us live with more details on what she is up to now. Roseanne.
Well, Anthony, Anita, last week, even as residents lined up at a Board of Trustees meeting to question her conduct in office, she continues to call herself the super mayor. And her new podcast, debuting next week on Spotify, is called Truth Speaks, the Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast. Now, it comes as Henyard is being investigated by federal agents, we know. Since Henyard took office back in 2021, some local business owners have complained that they can't get their licenses renewed and are being harassed after refusing to donate to Henyard events. The police chief accuses Henyard of misusing her security detail, and Henyard has spent taxpayer money on trips and self-promoting billboards.
So I heard you guys were looking for me. If you're looking for Tiffany Henyard, press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. So, what do you want me to talk about? This, or that, this and that, or me? Tiffany A.
Henyard. Of all of the things that you can possibly do, of every adjustment that you can do. She didn't take Diddy's advice and just went silent, went off the map, would go off the grid. She didn't start doing her job differently and have a different perspective on what success is supposed to look like in a public position. She didn't start working with the residents. She didn't apologize. She didn't become more transparent, start releasing credit card statements. She didn't balance the budget. They over $7 million in a small city in a hole. She launched a podcast. Of all the things that, now I thought that it was a joke. I thought that it was going to be something because I talked about this on Friday. Y'all remember? I thought that she was going to come back to the front of the congregation and say, you know what? I was going to do a podcast because that's something that me and my homegirls had talked about like 5 years ago. But now we going to do it a little differently because I don't want myself to be in the public eye. And I know that the FBI is investigating. She said, we're going to start a podcast. Does this woman have any friends? Does she have any friends? Does she have anybody that's on her team that's like, nah, sis, that's not a good look. Nah, family, we probably shouldn't do that. Nah, baby girl, we should probably play it a little bit differently. Nobody is on her team and saying that, well, listen, because some of you, yes, I do think that some police officers is going down with her. Some of you are not even familiar with what it is that she's done in the first place. Let me show you what the latest news is on her so that you can better understand what's going on. You even got trustees that saying that they think that she put a hit out on them. Businesses shutting down. FBI investigating her. City is in a deficit. Trustees is calling for an investigation. Everything is wrong in the city of Dolton. The people, I feel so bad for the people. They just trying to save their city. They got a dictator. You got Putin, Vladimir Putin with a wig on and a face like Lil Wayne is over in Dolton running the city credit card on crash.
Follow up to a heated board meeting last night in
I'm about to go to her
Dolton.
Instagram. I ain't never been to her
Trustees
Instagram.
are calling for an investigation into the town's mayor, Tiffany Henyard. NBC5's Christian Farr has a look at what happens next.
This is not a dictatorship, and that's the problem that we're having.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood says she and many of her fellow village trustees have been fighting to save Dolton.
I am your leader.
They say Mayor Tiffany Henyard is preventing them from doing their jobs and is also blocking them from seeing any of the village spending.
We're asking for credit card statements, we're asking for bank statements, and we're asking for information that help us, assist us as trustees to know how the money is being spent.
There needs to be an ordinance in place so that no future mayor can spend as they want to.
Last night, the Board of Trustees held a special meeting where a resolution was passed that calls for an investigation into Mayor Henyard and village spending. Trustee Norwood says some trustees were locked out of the village's finances when they discovered in September that Dolton was $7 million in debt.
We're able to track receipts for spending, and then we shared it with the public, and once we started sharing it with the public, our access was denied.
The Tribune is reporting that federal authorities, including the FBI, have been investigating Mayor Henyard, and the Illinois Attorney General's office has questions about a charitable foundation connected to the mayor that has not been registered with the state. In response to that special meeting, the village said in part that this is just another example of a few trustees in the village spreading lies and false allegations, and then accused those trustees of charging more than $5 million in frivolous lawsuits that the Dolton taxpayers are stuck with the tab.
The residents are now feeling that this is the best time, more than ever, that we kind of stick together and work as a community to force this administration to work with us.
Trustee Norwood says that it's likely the mayor will block that investigation during the next board meeting in March. She says that will lead to another special meeting to make certain that investigation does take place. In Dolton, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
Our thanks to Christian.
About a charitable foundation when they
I'm muted. I'm sorry. My bad. I was answering some questions. I'm sorry. I'm here. I got y'all. Thank y'all. I had to mute myself because I didn't want y'all to hear what they was talking about inside of this meeting. But I said that. Let me go ahead and pull her up. I pulled her up. I got y'all. I see y'all. I pulled her up on Instagram because I wanted to know more about her, right? And she calls herself the most powerful woman. Don't y'all love me? She said she calls herself the most powerful woman in the Southland of Chicago. Can we get a round of applause for Tiffany? Shout out to Tiff. We appreciate you, baby. So this is her advertisement.
The people's mayor. So I heard you guys was looking for me. If you looking for Tiffany Henyard, press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. So, what you want me to talk about? This or that? This and that? Or me? Tiffany A. Henyard. You pick. Put your questions in the comments, and I'm going to answer all questions. Just be respectful. If you disrespectful, I'm not going to answer it. Because remember, I got the tea with the receipts. Matter of fact, if you want the tea, get it from me. Go tell that. Hey, guys.
Let me go ahead and pull this up. This is amazing. This is the playlist right here. Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast is the name of it. Let me go ahead and subscribe to that.
Hey guys, it's super
amazing. So I will be front and center. I will definitely be front and centered. I am one of the first 100 subscribers to Tiffany Henyard, and I will be there front and center to make sure that I get all the tea before she get into the slammer. I'm definitely going to be there. Are y'all subscribing to Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast? Oh, the fight to save Dolton from a modern woman. You can't block me from YouTube. It's impossible. You can't block me from YouTube. She got like 90-something subs. Hold on, let me go pull it back up. She got 96 subs. I wonder if she...
hey guys, it's...
Let me see. 0 comments. Let me switch my account.
Hey guys,
I might as well be the first person. I'm not muted. I'm talking. I was being intentional. I might as well be the first person to say good luck on your YouTube journey. You already blocked, Nikita? What? How you get blocked already? Sheesh. Don't block me. Just hold me down. I'm about to follow her on Instagram too while we at it. Miss that follow. Like to get them updates. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tiffany Henyard. We love you, baby. We definitely love. And I'm the first person to comment on her content. All right. So let me read a couple of the super chats and we gonna get it popping. Dewali says Fani AT&T. Shout out to Fani AT&T. I appreciate you for the 20 ball, big dog. You balling out here in these streets. Mel Duke is in the building with the 10 ball. Good afternoon, Anton. All of them are guilty. Fani, Nate, and no, we're not going to throw Trump in there. We're going to remove Trump out of that. More to come, although I do not always agree with you. You are still my guy. Keep up the good work. See, we can agree to disagree. I'm going to be blocked in 2 minutes. She should be excited. Hopefully we can live stream together. We should do a live stream together. Hey, Tiff. Call me. I don't know if I'm her number one fan because I think that it's other people that's more of her fan than I am. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. So, Brandon Johnson has announced, let's talk to more positive news, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Johnson has announced I think it's $1.25 billion in affordable housing. You guys got to see this. You got to see what Brandon Johnson got going on, y'all.
Proposal put forth by the Johnson administration, arguably the biggest item to come out of today's meeting. Aside from the investments it plans to focus on, we're also now learning the city plans to use expiring tax increment district funds, or TIFs, to be able to pay off that debt.
We're going to invest. It's going to be incremental.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is talking about a plan announced Wednesday to borrow $1.25 billion to invest in neighborhoods. The bond proceeds would go toward affordable housing and other development projects, including in the business and growth sectors.
These are funds that our residents and community areas need and deserve. I made a promise. I'm going to keep it.
As the mayor announced this plan, City Council confirmed several appointments, including Lisette Castaneda as Commissioner of the Department of Housing. Jesse Fuentes says it's time to change how housing is funded in Chicago, and she's excited for this move.
But more importantly, make sure that housing is a right in the third largest city in the country, not a privilege.
Meantime, Alderman Matt O'Shea fighting for a small box retailers ordinance he put forth to address issues concerning dollar stores in communities across Chicago. He says the way stores are maintained by these companies differs across the city and in some places is only hurting the fight to combat food deserts.
Drive past any one of those 149 stores today, and you'll likely see overflowing dumpsters.
Is this what Chicago got going on, y'all? Honestly? Like, of all of the possibilities and the things that you can talk about that's happening as far as the budget deficits is happening in Chicago, are you telling me that of all the things that you can possibly talk about, let me finish the video before I give my commentary.
Broken fences, broken exterior lights.
The ordinance, which passed after a weeks-long delay, requires dollar stores to put up a placard with contact information so people can reach out with concerns. It also prevents a dollar store from opening within a mile of another owned by that same company. Jeanette Taylor says her two daughters worked at a dollar store. One was told to bring her gun she had a concealed carry permit for to protect herself, while her other daughter was robbed at gunpoint.
One of my colleagues has come up with an ordinance to hold them accountable, and now we're being asked to wait. What would you say to me if my daughter had gotten killed?
O'Shea says in a 6-year span, dollar stores across the city racked up more than $600,000 in fines and 3,300 code violations. Things like sale of 6-month expired baby.
Dollar stores, y'all. Chicago. Dollar stores. Now remember, last week we brought Chicago to the front of the congregation because several police officers got carjacked because the carjackers didn't even know that the people that was carjacking was police officers. The people that they were carjacking was police officers. You got a migrant crisis, evictions, high property taxes, inflation, crime. Police officers are being pulled out of the schools. Defunding of the police. A lack of police officers on the payroll in general. Handcuffing the police from the SAFE-T Act. Of all of the things that they could possibly think of, and all of the stuff that they could solve for, they're working on dollar stores and having whole discussions and meetings among the aldermen and dollar stores. And the government is funding and throwing money at projects, basically building the new projects in Chicago.
Formula. Medicine more than a year past its expiration and incidents of overtaxing and overcharging customers. He says he's asking why the chains maintain stores in predominantly white communities while neglecting others.
I don't like getting bull. I don't like getting my chain yanked.
Several organizations in the Chicago business community issuing a joint statement opposing the move. In it saying the city, quote, wrote another chapter on its ongoing narrative of hostility to retailers, passing a misguided proposal that will address a problem in one ward while depriving residents of many other wards convenient access to affordable necessities.
So let me break this down real quick. Right after, because I heard that they gave an opportunity for the residents to say what they wanted to say. Let me see.
The roll call. Very well then.
Black History Month. Good morning to my black people here.
Don't waste no time saying good morning. Just get to it.
This is Black History Month, and I see some of our beautiful ladies having on these African garments. You don't show your blackness by how you dress. You show your blackness by how you vote. And some of you voted for sanctuary. If anybody needs sanctuary, black people need it. Now this, over here, they very disrespectful. Michelle Harris and all, I'm just talking while I'm talking. They are part of the problem. The black people have issues because you have poor black leadership.
I wasn't expecting it. He said, listen, that dude set him up and knocked him down. Let me give him a round of applause. He set him up, and y'all thought he was going to be up there mumbling this nonsense, and he came with that fire. He said, listen, I see all of my beautiful black ladies got on their African garments. He said, you don't show whether or not you for the culture by what you wearing. You show whether or not you for the culture based off of how you vote. And y'all got poor leadership. Poor leadership. I want what my guy what's his name? Umar Johnson said, I want you to understand, overstand, and understand. That's why I say it 3 times. Poor leadership. That man came in and said, the leaders of this community is trash, and it's just a reflection of the people that's in the community. Talk your talk, OG.
And Reverend Woo got somebody up here praying for us. Just pray your way off this plantation. Pray your way into reparation. This is disgraceful. No boycott. No black, empty seats of black people. When it was packed with these illegal immigrants and packed with these white Jews and white Arabs. Where are the black people? The ancestors hate you. They never knew that you were going to turn out like you are and do what you're doing. You're disgraceful. The miseducation of the black man, Carter G. Woodson said, the miseducation of the black man. And what kind of man did they make on the plantation? Use your imagination. It started with an end. We got to purge ourselves of that and become strong black men and women. You got no representation. Black faces in high places.
Look at Brandon Johnson being disrespectful. Look at Brandon every single time somebody come up there and they speak. Brandon Johnson just act like they not even talking and he completely ignore him. That man said the truth in every single way possible. He said the ancestors hate you. The ancestors hate you based off of the things that you're doing today. Yo, I got to give that man a round of applause. And look at Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson just acting like he ain't trying to listen to y'all. He don't want to see y'all. He don't want to talk to y'all. Who is that man? Let me get in touch with that man to get him back up here. I need to understand what he's saying. I need to understand, overstand, and understand what he's saying.
Representation. It's sad. Look at here. This place shall be packed with black people. You have no pride. You're disgraceful. You to the ancestors. If Dr. King could see this, Malcolm X and all our heroes and sheroes, and Harriet Tubman said, I could have freed no blacks if they knew they were slaves. Don't you know we're still on the plantation? Don't let this fool you. Don't go there. You're not like these white Altons. You're not like these Hispanic Altons. You're not like the Asian Altons. You're a black Alton. and remember your blackness. Remember where you came from and how you got here. And you haven't got over, looking back, how I got over, you haven't got over the legacy of slavery. You're still on this white man's plantation in a high place.
Mr. Blackmore, thank you very much for your comments.
He made it quick.
Our next speaker is Tawan Sims.
That man's still mad over there. Where's Tawan at?
I find it courageous, the way the man speak. I know y'all think it's entertaining, and a lot of us are bow our heads to it because we convicted by it. But we losing in this city, black people. I'm the young black man that love black people. I'm the young black man that's wild about black people. But I'm also the young black man in the city that's being underserved, mistreated, and just basically made to be invisible. I've been attacked in this city, shot multiple times. I've been pushed to the side by law enforcement. For what reason, I don't know.
When you're a leader and somebody is speaking, you give them your full attention and you pay attention to what they're saying. You don't keep fumbling through papers like you paying attention to something. You're not looking at nothing. You're not looking at nothing. Brandon Johnson, in my opinion, is the most disrespectful person to his own constituents, the very people that voted him in. He's acting like they don't even exist. He's acting like they don't even exist. He's not even looking them in the eye when they're speaking to him. And they're not even up there for a long time.
Attacked by judges, for what reason, I don't know. I guess it's for speaking up for black people. That's the only thing I can think about. But we just received new representation in Brandon Johnson. I was like, yeah, we got a smart black man in the school board, all these little different things. I was like, yeah. But then I think about other things. So to speak about what, I'm from Rogers Park. I'm from the north side for 30 years. I'm sure most of you all are here about Paulina or East Rogers Park and not understand how can that be a part of the north side of Chicago. Multiple murders, unsolved. My brother was killed in 1995. His name is Walter Sims. I have not had a follow-up call. There was a young man murdered, a few months ago when the yellow line crashed. His name is Kenneth. He was murdered by a young man named Kamari. I know both of these young kids. Friends murdered, but one of them is going to get off because the charges that were filed against him were dropped. So the city is showing us that black lives don't matter, or black life does not matter to it.
Talk to him.
And we being condemned in this sense. We being forgotten in that thought. So I'm the young black man, Tawan Sims, that love black people and want to see some type of resolve in it. Some reparation, maybe. Some understanding, hopefully. These are our electeds. We got Maria Haddon, Alderman Bill in the far south side. Everybody that should feel responsible. Everybody lining their pockets, everybody getting something out of it. Everybody, except for the people. So we ask, honestly, wholeheartedly, when do we get the consideration? When? Honestly, I'm from your Ward 49th. We got a congressional woman been in the office for 24 years. When do we get some consideration? No, don't shake your head, Maria, because I've been hitting you up for the last few weeks. I'm sleeping in the 24th district, woman, and you still ain't, please. But sorry, y'all.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Jessica Jackson.
This is very entertaining. I didn't know we was going to get here. Okay, Jessica. Jessica got a speech. She got some talking points.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jessica.
I'm sure everybody knows about a movie, Scarface, right?
Yeah.
It's a classic, Al Pacino, right?
Yep.
Everybody knows about that movie.
Immigrant came over and made everything.
Focus on the famous lines in that movie. You know, the acting and the hello to my little friend and all that. But it's the beginning of that movie that matters. When those words are coming up on that screen, that's what matters. And those words say, in May 1980, Fidel Castro opened the harbor at Muriel, Cuba, with the apparent intention of letting some of his people join their relatives in the United States. Within 72 hours, 3,000 U.S. boats were headed for Cuba. It soon became evident that Castro was forcing the boat owners to carry back with them not only their relatives, but the dregs of his jails. Of that 125,000 refugees that landed in Florida, an estimated 25,000 had criminal records. That's what's up. That's what has happened in the United States right now. All this asylum-seeking lie All this about refugees. No. What's happening is they're emptying out the dregs of their jails into the United States, into our communities. They're junking up our country. And yeah, we feel some kind of way about it because it's our country. It's our country. People like Vasquez and them, look how disrespectful they are. Now, you just gave that man a resolution for his father's restaurant. And every time we get up and talk, he's working this room. Look at him. Look at him. But he wants his resolution for his father to be respected. Vasquez, Lopez, all them want their people to be respected, but they can't even give us the dignity for what we built. But them, ain't no question about it. Yeah, Black History Month, the American descendants of slavery. And I want you to know, Brandon Johnson, I understand what Breakmore's saying about we still on the plantation, but what you're looking at right now, this is what a free Negro look like. And I'm telling you, we're going to get our city back. We're going to stand for our people. We're going to get them out of our communities because they don't deserve to be there. Anytime they can't give us 3 lousy minutes of their attention while we sit here and watch y'all get them all kind of money, you watch us. We black out here, and we're going to handle our business.
Hey. I guess Chicago ain't gonna take this line down, are they? Let me give Chicago a round of applause. I guess Chicago ain't gonna take this line down. Listen, they know. They know now. So, okay, so they not ignorant. The people are telling them the truth. They not just listening to the Millionaire Morning Show and saying that's just the Anton thing. They understand. This is not an anomaly. Everybody know. From the bottom to the top, from the business people to the politicians, from the young people to the old people, everybody know, from Chicago to Miami, from Los Angeles to New York, everybody is familiar with what is going on here in the United States of America. And we just seen 3 people back to back to back. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I didn't know that this was going to go the way that it was going to go. I thought that they was just going to, Brandon Johnson was just going to be disrespectful and acting like he wasn't hearing them. But these people is telling the truth. They're telling the truth. They telling the truth. I can't take one. Okay, Chicago. I got y'all back. I got your back, Chicago. I thought that it was just all gunshots, boop, 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 happening over in Chicago. But the people are standing on business over in the streets, and they holding the politicians accountable. I can't complain. Let me give y'all one more round of applause. Y'all deserve better. You deserve better leadership. You deserve better mayors. You deserve better aldermen. You deserve better presidents. You deserve better across the board. Chicago, I love y'all. Y'all done reignited a love for me that I got for y'all, and so I'm going to continue to stay on the forefront of this movement and holding the people accountable that is not doing what they supposed to do. I got you, Chicago. If it's up to me, we getting them up out of there. We getting them up out of there. She spoke that. Hey, man, listen. They gave you the fundamentals of what happened. The Chicago school system must be doing something right because they gave y'all the entire. She gave you a thesis. She drew you in with admiration. She quoted a scripture from the Scarface movie. She gave you her hypothesis. She said, listen, it's not even a thing that you need to be paying attention to as far as the acting. It's the beginning of the movie that they really gave you the blueprint of what's happening here in the United States of America today. She drew me in. I had to listen. I couldn't even comment. I said, this woman is cooking. She cooking. She gave you the 3 supporting sentences, the 3 supporting paragraphs, and then she gave you the conclusion where she reiterated what she started in the first paragraph, and she said, I ain't taking this land down. Give you a round one more time. Shout out to Chicago. Y'all got Motor and Twister. Let me play with your emotions, so to the rhythm of a hi-hat. Let me stimulate your mind, body, and soul. I know you want to try that. Now, can you buy that? Where your ride at? Let me play with your emotions. Woo! Shout out to Twister. I seen a bunch of tongue twisters that was up there. That's my favorite guy from Chicago is Twister. It ain't even Ye. It ain't Ye. It ain't Common. It's Twister. Let me play with your emotions, so to the rhythm behind. Yeah. That Adrenaline Rush album is one of my top albums of all time. You know what I'm saying? All right, we here. This is how we start off them emotions. Yeah, shout out to the people in Chicago. Y'all doing the Lord's work out there. Let me read some of these super chats. Jay Ben says for the hashtag anti-mute button I had to mute on that one. I'm sorry I didn't unmute it because I was on a Teams meeting. I was on a Zoom call, but we gonna continue to get there. Shout out to y'all. I'm paying attention. Yes, Dr. Cloud is in the building. Says the Illinois governor just I know we gonna get to that tomorrow. I promise you, I got so much on the docket. Illinois' governor just allocated $150 million for migrants and $50 million for black homelessness. It was in the latest State of Illinois address. We gonna get there tomorrow. Doc, I got you. Jeremy H is in the building. Says the old man basically called Brandon Jennings the head house from Django. Who that on that neck? Steven, my boy. Steven played his role. Steven, my boy. A2 Grub says, Apple paid $10 to make your Apple phone in China and sell it to the consumer like yourself for $1,500. What's the value in this phone? Can't see it. What do you mean? I was just live streaming on my phone. Before I got this camera working, I was live streaming on that phone. It's a beautiful phone. It's a gorgeous phone. Apex Life says, let's go. Chicagoans got to follow up on this. I'm on it. Oh, let me give you that one. That's the one you deserve. Ken J says Brandon Johnson is a Trojan horse. And y'all thought that just because he was in the education system, he was going to help y'all. JP says your comment already got removed. No, it didn't. Hold on. No, my comment did not get removed. You lying to me. You lying to me. No, it didn't. You lying to me. Let me refresh.
Hey guys, it's Super Mayor
It's right
Tiffany.
there. It's right there. It ain't removed. It's right there. Is it removed? It's right there. Here, let me switch over to a different account and see if I still see it.
Hey guys, it's Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the
Hey,
people's mayor.
where'd my comment go?
So I heard you guys was looking for me.
Where'd my comment go? So only I can see my comment? Like is there? Where is my comment? Hey, I had to go and look it up. Hold on, let me look it up from a different account. Let me see. No, she didn't.
Hey guys, it's
Look at me giving her all of these views. Hey, where's my comment at? Why did you remove my comment? Not that one. Got to meet him with love. Hey, love. Seems as though my previous Okay, so now we got to do some investigating. I got to see if I can see that.
Hey guys, it's Super.
This is like a conspiracy theory. I don't like what's happening here. We gonna get there. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume that it's just something wrong with YouTube. It's not them. is me, is YouTube. Let me read a couple more super chats and we're going to continue with the show. Michael Moore says, for the Twister songs, Do or Die hits. Oh, I love Do or Die. P-I-M-P, ology, but logically be learning these biology. And obviously, well, P-O, do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy? We'll chop it up, we'll do or die. Do you want to ride? It was 7:00 p.m. 7:00 p.m. I love Chicago. Chicago got them hits on the low. Y'all just ain't as good as us with the music. I'm just going to say that right away. But I like what y'all got going on. Classy B says, salute AD. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hey, are y'all subscribed to the Patreon? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Classy Beats in the building. Make sure y'all go check out his channel. Juwan Hart says, overnight celebrity. No. Got to go with the originals. TR says, open border gives every country the opportunity to reduce their prison costs. Agreed. Gotta love Silverado says, she know you. And you know how I know she know me? Because she been contacting and talking to all of the people around me, but she been trying to avoid me. Hey, Tiff. I love you. When is your birthday? I know it's on the calendar. How old is she anyway? Tiffany Henyard age. Tiffany Henyard age. She 40. She 40, fam. Is she 40? Oh, she 37. Oh, she got swore in at 37 in 2021. So she 40 years old. Or maybe not. 1984, she was born June 1st, 1984. So she got to be 39 going on 40? 39 going on 40? She too old to be acting like this. Don't be that petty, Tiff. Don't be petty. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? You got to get to the rest of the show. She look good for 50. Let's continue, y'all. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Did y'all know that it's migrants that's being dropped off all across the United States of America? You don't believe me? I got the evidence. She was born in 1983 or 1984. I got the evidence that say that the migrants was being dropped off all over the United States of the Americas. But they starting off in San Diego. Check it out, y'all.
Welcome back. In the commercial break, we're watching this video in from Bill Malusian on some migrants that are being dropped off. He has an update for us from San Diego. Bill, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Dana, good morning to you. We are in San Isidro, a part of San Diego right now where hundreds of illegal immigrants have just been mass street released from Border Patrol custody. This bus you see right here is apparently an NGO or volunteer organization bus. They've all just gotten off a Border Patrol bus, two of them actually. They're now waiting to board this bus. I've talked to several of them from Peru, from India, from Colombia. The group from Peru told me they are here to work. They are going to Atlanta and Minneapolis. Let's see if we can talk to some of them real quick. Hola, español. ¿De dónde son? Ecuador. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Nueva York.
New York. Going to New York. ¿De dónde son? ¿De dónde son? Costa Rica. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
New Jersey.
¿Dónde?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Chicago.
Chicago. ¿Y de dónde son?
Colombia.
Colombia. ¿Quieren trabajar?
No.
No? ¿Asilo?
Sí, yes.
They say they want asylum. They don't want to work. ¿De dónde?
Oh, snaps. Listen, you're getting it from the horse's mouth. You're getting it from listen, these are volunteer organizations. No, they ain't say nothing. Not one see, Detroit got a bad reputation. This is the one time that it actually works out in our favor that we got a bad reputation. Shout out to Detroit. They said they're going to Atlanta, New Jersey, Chicago, New York. Did you hear where they were saying they was going? They're going to Chicago. They have an option to go where they want to go when they want to go. This is not being made up. They're interviewing them live. They said, listen, I don't even want to work. I want asylum. I'm trying to get this free New York money. I want to go where the people go that get all of the hotel stays, the monies, the services, the healthcare coverage. These are all men. So here's my question. How are so many men? And we don't know what they doing. We don't know where they come from. We don't know their background. We don't know if one of them is slapping on some chick. We don't know how many baby mamas they got. We don't know nothing, y'all. This is crazy in real time. On February 26, 2024, we are having a conversation with people that are getting dropped off over into this country, coming from San Diego, and able to get a free ride to go get free healthcare coverage, jobs, opportunity, free money, asylum, hotels. They kids can get educated, tax dollars. They fighting, brawling all over. They're going to York. They getting free rides to your city. They got buses that are sending them free rides. We spending money on this. We're paying the bus drivers. We're paying them. We're bringing them into the country, and we letting them go where they want to go. They can have the option to go where they want to go. If this is not the most insane thing that is happening in our country right now, and we've been on top of this for more than a year. We've been documenting it, paying attention to it, bringing it to the visibility, using a platform to talk about. Listen, I was talking about this when it wasn't popular to talk about it. We over here at the Millionaire Morning Show, we was talking almost 100% about money. We had no interest in talking about anything politics related until it started coming to the money. I've been dedicating portions of this platform to this crisis for well over a year, and it wasn't popular. Nobody was talking about it. Fox wasn't talking about it. ABC wasn't talking about it. CNBC wasn't talking about it. Smaller content creators wasn't talking about it. Black people wasn't talking about it. White people wasn't talking about it. Nobody was ever talking about it. They was all focused on things that had nothing to do with nothing. And we've been on top of this for the entirety of 2023, majority of 2022, and in 2024, we still doing it. Now, everybody want to talk about it because it's the popular subject. All of a sudden, it became the most impactful thing that we need to have a conversation about. When it wasn't popular to talk about back then. Now they getting dropped off in your city and you getting frustrated because your cities is in a deficit and they running up the tab on you. You deserve this. You deserve every single migrant that come into your city. They get a free bus ride or plane ride to where it is that they're going to be staying in their luxury hotels. You deserve it.
This on. Hold up. Where are you from?
Senegal, Africa.
Senegal, from Senegal. We saw
he from Senegal, Venezuela, Colombia, Spain, Mexico. They all everywhere. They big, strong, small, short. They can pick apples from the top of the tree and cotton from the cotton fields. They all everywhere.
Senegalese in Lukeville, Arizona. Where in the U.S. do you want to go to? What city?
France.
He don't speak no.
Français, speak French.
Oh, he says he speaks French. I obviously do not speak French. Watch out, Lexi. Hi, where are you from?
I'm from Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. ¿A dónde vas los Estados Unidos?
New York.
New York.
Passport, bro. They passporting broing over this way. You passporting broing over that way. He from the Dominican Republic. He said, y'all trying to bust down our chicks over there. We going to come over and bust down your chicks over here. Let me give him a round of applause. He going straight to New York. Straight to New York. Eric Adams, shout out to you for being a sanctuary city. You invited them. They coming.
Okay. So you get a little flavor right there, guys. They're from all around. They're some going to New York, some going to New Jersey.
Chicago.
We talked to those Peruvian guys. They're going to Atlanta, to Minneapolis. So
Minneapolis.
They've been released from Border Patrol custody. They are now free to travel the country. It appears an NGO group or some sort of volunteer group is now putting them on their own bus and they're going to be going elsewhere. We'll try to talk to that NGO after this live shot if we can, but
All
the reason
men.
this is happening,
All
obviously
men.
we've had a big surge of illegal crossings.
Ladies, hey, ladies, remember when y'all said that it ain't no more good men? Here you go. There you go. Ladies, remember when y'all said it ain't no more good men? There you go. You ain't got to worry about us no more. You got you a man that could come over straight from Senegal, and he speaks French. He speaks French. Going over to see the Louvre. He speaks French.
Here in San Diego sector, which we've been showing all week. The other reason, San Diego County recently spent millions of taxpayer dollars to create a migrant shelter where some of these migrants could stay.
This is crazy.
That shelter just ran out of money this week. So there's nowhere to put these migrants from Border Patrol custody.
coming to your city.
You see the results now. These are mass street releases just dropped onto the streets of San Diego, and now they are getting help from this NGO where they're going to help facilitate their travel and go all across the country. And guys, you just heard it here. They're going all over the place.
So you just answered a couple of my questions. I wanted to know what a street release was. I noticed that everybody seems to have an iPhone and that it's fully charged and they're using it. What I am wondering is, with all of this happening in the last 2 weeks that we've been showing between you and Griff Jenkins, has Governor Gavin Newsom said a word?
Nope.
Not that I'm aware of. I know he's in Washington, D.C. today, but eventually, look, these images are probably going to cause him a little bit of a political issue, right? Look what's happening in Texas. They are fortifying their border with razor wire, with National Guard, with troopers. They're kicking the feds out, and their illegal crossings have fallen off a cliff here. What has happened as a result? A lot of the illegal crossings are now a big majority of them are now in California and Arizona. Blue states run by blue governors who really aren't doing any sort of resistance at the state level in terms of trying to stop these illegal crossings. But look, here down in San Diego, the El Cajon mayor is coming down here as well. We've been texting. He's been getting mass releases in his city as well. Everyone's frustrated that the federal government essentially just says, you deal with it. They dump them in a city and say, good luck, essentially.
Incredible. Thank you for the reporting, Bill Malugin.
Thank you, Bill. I'm Steve Ducey.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for letting us know what the heck is happening out here. I had a conversation. Shout out to my dog, Yuck Mouth. Shout out to Yuck Mouth over there in Oakland. Let me give him a round of applause. Me and Yuck, we had a Sunday morning conversation on his platform, Yuck Mouth TV. Make sure y'all go and check that out. And it was me, Yuck, and it was another young man that was on there. And he was calling in from prison. And I said, listen, it's so easy for y'all to get distracted and continue to vote for the thing that's the worst for y'all. And Yuck said, I agree. And the other young man said, I agree. I said, for example, Gavin Newsom. And then the young man says, oh, no. I rock with Gavin. Y'all know who Yuck Mouth is? Yuck Mouth is one half of the Loonies. I got 5 on it. Y'all remember that? But he went on to make a lot of other songs, and he's a really good artist. He actually can rap his butt off on the real, though. And it was a thing. It was a real thing. And they said, no. And they gave me every reason of why they still rock with Gavin Newsom. And I said, okay, well, y'all get what y'all deserve. You all get what you deserve. You get it. You have it. You created it for yourself. It's a space for you. And, it's nothing for us to debate about. It's absolutely nothing for us to debate about. I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed. This is y'all city. This is y'all country. This is y'all state. Y'all voted for them. Y'all stand on them. And y'all don't even know what's coming. That's the worst part about it. Y'all have no clue how bad it's about to be for y'all. 6. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get to the last thing, because it's all based off of America. We got a whole theme today. Miss Jennifer says she has her comments on approve mode setting. I see. I ain't saying nothing but nice things. I said, hey, make sure y'all subscribe. Hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. CivLab says, never mind a green card. They looking to get that check card. They said, we ain't trying to work. We trying to get a bag. They said, we going to join the Chasers. Ray said, there's a lot of men, all men, what not one woman in that group. Maybe they're here to knock up Keisha and Becky. Somebody got to pay that Social Security. They don't even have to come for a green card no more. No more 90-day fiance. Just come on over. Just come on over. Gotta love Silverado says, 80, believe it or not, black pastors are tired of the migrant crisis and believes we're being replaced. Nope. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, gotta love. You know why? Because all of them are standing behind Brandon Johnson. All of them are standing behind Brandon Johnson. Gotta love says, impeach Biden, impeach Biden. We ain't got to impeach him. It's an election this year. It's an election this year. Y'all have the ability to determine what's going to happen. But no, you don't like Trump, remember? You rather go with Biden. And he ain't mentioned nothing about this crisis. He said he might do something. Big Hurt says, you see the media across the board are calling them migrants and not illegals. I do have a theory, though. What if they are letting these people in to have enough bodies for, man, listen, let me tell you something. Dub 3 has already been in flight. You just don't know it yet. It's not being fought on the ground with soldiers no more. We got a proxy war that's over in Ukraine right now that we funded. Dub 3 has already been here. Y'all just late to the party. Don't get me on my conspiracy theory. That might be for my other channel. Hey, I just started a new channel, y'all. I changed Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom before we get into this next thing. And I appreciate y'all for all of the love and the super chats. I changed the name of Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom to, it's now called Room 9. It's now called Room 9. You guys will be getting some updates on it in March. We will be releasing new videos and new content on our new channel, inspired by my rant that I had on Wednesday night. And the name of the new channel is called Room 9. So a lot of people are not familiar. They don't understand why it's called Room 9. But you will find out soon. If you want to know why it's called Room 9, and go back and watch my last Wednesday night live stream on the Anton Daniels channel, the name of the new channel is called Room 9. All right? I'm not going to give y'all no more details. I'm going to do a rollout as we go. But this was inspired by the conversation that we had on Wednesday. All right? So shout out to y'all. All right. Last but not least. Yes, sister. Yes, sister. Last but not, hold on. Before we get to our last subject, let me just say this. Honestly, I just want to give y'all a round of applause. I want to give y'all a round of applause. You know why? Because this is the greatest morning show on the internet or on media by far. Good Morning America, not better than us. Nobody is better than us. Nobody is better than us as far as the best morning show consistently available on a daily basis. And so I first want to give some recognition to my moderators. Can I give a round of applause to the moderators? I also want to give a round of applause for all of the people that's been loyal to me and loyal with me and rocking with me since the day that they discovered me. Now, I know that it's a lot of people that is just now starting to discover me, and I'm for that. I'm with it. So I want to give a round of applause for the people that stick with me when they discover me. Not the fair weather fans, not the people that pop in and out occasionally. I want to give a round of applause and some acknowledgement to the people that roll with me day in and day out, because you know that it does not go unnoticed. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest group of people, and I will never ever call you a fan. Somebody tried to disrespect y'all and say, Anton, yo fan. I said, don't ever call my people fans. Them is friends. Don't ever call my people no fans. Them is friends. Them is family members. Jesus said he called us his friends because of what it is that we do and what we subscribe to, and we go to the right side of that if-then statement. If you do my will, then you will reign with me. If you suffer with me, then you will reign. These is my friends. Don't ever disrespect my people and call them no fans. They're not no fans of me. We family in real life. These people got my real phone number. They get in touch with me. They know who my daughter is. They met my wife. These is my friends. I eat with them. I roll with them. I meet them. I kick it with them in real life. These are real people that really, truly believe in what it is that we building and putting together, and I will not let you down. So let me just tell y'all something. No matter what happens, I will never sell you out. I don't care how much money. Well, if they offer me $30 million, we're going to have to consider it. I promise you I'm going to give something back to the bag chasers, though. Listen, if I get $30 million, I promise I'm going to distribute $1 million to y'all. Real talk. No cap. No cap. I got you. I pay my tithes to the people. Man, listen, if y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm not going to sell y'all out for anything less than $30 million. But then again, we not really selling out because we are going to benefit as a result of that, though, right? I'm being honest. Listen, I got a number just like everybody else. You know that chick over there, she say she would never do nothing for it. She will. She got a number just like everybody else. She just ain't been offered, right? 30 million, that's different, though. If I get 30 million, I promise we going to all share it, though. It is a price. But if I become even more successful on my own, then the price going to have to raise. So we going to figure that out. We going to figure out what all our number is to sell out because we all going to be on the beach somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue on with the show. We not done. We got to continue to rock out. Shout out to Messi. I see you, baby. Here's the question. After all of this conversation and we see that they go into your city, and when this came across my algorithm, I said, "Oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is fire right here." And I said that this is fire. Don't put my phone number in the chat again. My phone number already hit the internet one time, not again. And the reason why this was important to me is because I remember when Detroit filed for bankruptcy in 2008. I remember when Detroit, y'all mess. I remember when Detroit filed for bankruptcy. Hey, put the number to Brandon Johnson's office or to nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I remember when Detroit filed for bankruptcy, and I see a lot of these cities on the exact same path. So when this popped up in my algorithm, I said I wanted to share this with the people instead of just watching it by myself. Here's the question. As this migrant crisis continue to trudge forward, and as these cities continue to dedicate a numerous amount of unlimited resources and basically using this as a credit card and taking out credit, mortgaging your children's future in order to support this crisis, and as we try to figure out what's going on in this country, here's the question that you need to ask yourself. Is the city that you're living in possibly going to be one of the cities that go bankrupt or file for bankruptcy as a result of the migrant crisis? Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Let's get it.
We have this international crisis that really requires federal intervention that local government is being asked to subsidize. Local government is not designed or built to handle such a crisis.
Definitely both a humanitarian crisis for the migrants that are arriving and it is creating a fiscal crisis for the city.
I don't see an ending to this.
Shout out to the Cash Apps.
Will destroy New York City.
The present migrant crisis is quite unprecedented, both in scale, in the diversity of the nationalities that are coming to the border, and the impact it's having not only on the border states, but in the states and cities inside the country.
I think it's at this point politically unsustainable for the Biden administration to maintain this unlimited flow into what's essentially a welfare state network of cities like New York and Denver and Chicago.
So how long can cities withstand?
You can't be in a crisis mode. We have to be in a crisis mode.
And this crisis is expensive. In 2018, New York City spent roughly $258 million to fund its immigration services, adjusted for inflation. By fiscal year 2023, the city had spent $1.47 billion servicing the...
Now, let me throw an alley-oop to my reparation folks. As you know, I don't believe in reparations, nor do I believe in running in the Victim Olympics. But if you got to pick a group of people in order to give some money to, because I'd love to see a whole bunch of Escalades parked on the front lawns of y'all mama's houses. I know how you going to spend your reparations money if you was ever to get it, but guess what? You ain't never going to get it. They spending more money to study reparations than they are to actually give it to you. And again, I'm not the type of person that believe in reparations because I just believe in getting it out the mud. However, look at the difference of what 5 years makes. From $258 unnecessary $1 million that they spent in 2018 in New York City to $1.47 billion. And that's just stuff that they openly documented. We don't know how they finessing the numbers. We don't know what's really happening behind the scenes, but $1.47 billion. And see how they label it? They say to those that are seeking asylum. No, these are illegal immigrants. These are people coming into this country that is not supposed to be here. And there's a difference. There's a difference.
Those seeking asylum. The city of Chicago spent over $194 million on its new arrivals mission since October 2022. Denver is estimated to have spent between $36.3 million to $39.1 million on migrant support services in.
And we know that Chicago is spending over $30 million a month. Listen, they finessing the numbers. The accountants is over there cooking the books. We know for a fact, based off of all of the research and all of the different live streams and everything that's come out of these politician mouths, we know for a fact that they've spent well over $30 million a month, and they anticipate it going up because they have more migrants coming in every single day.
2023.
The three biggest items for expenses for new arrivals is housing, education, and healthcare. And they're all three high-ticket items.
The idea that we could have a generous system of welfare benefits from health to education and so on, and allow the entire world to access those benefits is just mathematically impossible. So we're starting to see the math not adding up in state after state.
The sheer volume of newly arrived migrants is a major reason behind the city's struggles. In fiscal year 2022, just over 817,000 new cases were filed in immigration courts across the U.S. That number exploded to nearly 1.5 million new cases the following fiscal year. The particular background of current migrants also plays a role.
The secret sauce of migration has worked in the past is that people would come and they would not depend on the city and state for...
And here's the interesting part about that is that we're not even really taking into consideration how much in resources it's taking away from things that we already had budgeted. So, for example, police officers, border patrol, buses, planes, trains, automobiles, food, iPhones, stolen scooters, crime, justice systems, right? Jails. It's an untold amount of money that is being spent on the migrant crisis. This is the biggest look, of all of the things that the United States of America has invested in over the last 5 years, this has been the biggest investment in history. In the history of the United States of America, there has never been, over the last 5 years, in 5 years, there has never been a bigger investment in a group of people than the migrant crisis that's right now. That should upset you. That should upset you. We didn't invest in housing. We didn't invest in paying off debt. We didn't invest in the people. We didn't invest in education. We didn't invest in infrastructure. We didn't invest in anything. This was legislation that wasn't even passed that we was just forced into. We've invested more into people that's not from this country. They are literally taking classes. They're taking classes to learn English every day. They studying vigorously. We've invested more into people than we ever have anything that's beneficial in the United States of America. Not your children, not teachers, not police officers. People that's not from here.
Settling them. They would depend on their social networks. It seems in this case, many of the people coming in are coming where there are not such inbuilt connections. Venezuelans which is the largest source of a nationality of the new migrants. It's particularly true that they don't have inbuilt connections.
Reading that super chat shortly, big dog.
Communities are long standing. So they therefore, in the absence of private source of comfort for them, then they become dependent on the states and the cities. And the states and the cities have limited resources.
Although immigration has primarily been an area of federal oversight, experts say there just isn't enough federal funding for cities to work with.
The current level of federal funding provided to state and local governments is a drop in the bucket compared to the need. Congress has provided a very small amount of money of $800 million for a FEMA program for the entire country for last fiscal year to provide assistance to cities in aiding these newcomers.
But cities say this isn't enough. For instance, the $145 million allocated to New York City is less than 10% of what the city spent on migrant services in fiscal year 2023.
This is a whole spectrum of services needed for people who are new to a place, new to a country, new to a city. Everything from finding warm clothes for them, to finding jobs for them, to finding shelter for them. These are complicated issues to manage. So the city, the state, and the federal government, frankly, was not prepared for it.
Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C. We are sending them to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people that they are allowing to come across our border.
So the historians will probably record the current migrant crisis as a chapter of busing migrants.
No, they should record it as the legend of Greg Abbott. Let me give him a round of applause. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, sister. This is the legend of Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott was the only governor that truly spearheaded addressing this issue directly. Hey, remember when this first started happening, when they started to do it and people thought that it was just a novelty, that they sent some migrants over to Martha's Vineyard and they sent some of them over to Kamala Harris's house, and then they sent a couple over to Washington, D.C., and people thought it was cute. Oh, look, listen, if you don't like it, then they just gonna send it to your house, and nobody really cared, and ain't nobody trip about it. And then Greg was like, okay, I got you. So you don't want to listen, huh? You ain't paying attention to what we talking about, huh? He was juvenile, 400 degrees. So you don't want to listen, huh? You don't want to keep paying attention to what we got on our borders, huh? You don't want to pay attention to what we got on our shores, huh? You think this shit ain't major, huh? So we gonna put razor wire and alligators, huh? On our borders to make sure it's secure, huh? You think you gonna send even more, huh? They coming from Venezuela, huh? I ain't really even playing, huh? So we gonna keep on sending these migrants to Chicago, huh? In New York, huh? And you don't think that we playing, so we gonna send some more, huh? Yeah. Greg Abbott turned into juvie. He turned into juvie. Yo, you ain't no time dog of freestyle, did you? You ain't no time to spit it off the top of the dome, yo. You ain't know that, huh? You ain't know that I was all entertainment and very few substance. You ain't know that this is the greatest morning show on earth? Yeah. You ain't know I've been preparing my whole life to do this show. My whole life I've been preparing to do this show. And Greg Abbott is just like Juvie. Y'all see Juvenile's Tiny Desk concert? That was Greg Abbott up there, wheelchair and all. That was Greg. Yes, it was. He not playing no games with y'all out here in these streets.
This kind of coordinated, dramatic busing of asylum seekers from the border to the cities inside the countries is completely unprecedented.
Since the first bus of migrants to Washington, D.C., Texas reported it has transported over 100,000 migrants to cities such as New York City, Chicago, Philadelphia, Denver, and Los Angeles. In 2023, illegal immigration is estimated to have cost Texas taxpayers $13.4 billion. According to the Texas newsroom, the state spent over $148 million busing migrants to sanctuary cities as of January 24, 2024. The Office of the Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, did not respond to CNBC's request for an interview.
The two motives, I think, behind it were, one, simply necessity that Texas doesn't have the resources to cope with 150,000 people a day being released into the state. It's a big state, it's a reasonably wealthy state, but they just simply don't have the schools, the hospitals, the roads, the housing to cope with that kind of influx.
The staggering new record, more migrants crossed into the U.S. on Monday than any other day in history.
The current crisis of forced displacement is a global phenomenon. There are more people displaced worldwide than ever before, and 1 out of every 5 displaced people is in the Americas.
That's crazy. That's insane. 1 out of every 5 displaced people come to the Americas. I believe personally that you are going to start seeing some of these cities fall like dominoes because they can't sustain it. They can't sustain this. You can't sustain such bad behavior for an extended period of time and don't think that there's some consequences to be paid for it. I think that what they hoping is that they can kick the can down the road long enough for another mayor or somebody else to pick it up in their wake. And that's unfortunate because as long as this migrant crisis continue to trudge forward, I am going to be right here on the front lines, leveraging the little voice that I have with all of my phenomenal people and my bag chasers in order to bring it to the forefront of the congregation. Shout out to Mr. DJ. He gets down, making records spin round and round with the hip to the hop. You just don't stop producing funky records. Yo, shout out to Mr. DJ on Cash App. I appreciate you for holding me down, my guy. I also want to give a shout out to Tiege Hanley says, but I thought the Democrats were supposed to be all for black people. Save yourself, black man. Rod says, salute to you, big dog. We appreciate you more. No, not more than I love you. Not more than I love you. JC Cut says, we lots of Room 9 students running this country. Shout out to Room 9. Mel Duke says, Anton, did you see that Flint Councilman Eric Mays has passed away Saturday? I did. And I released a full interview on the Anton Daniels channel for people. His last and final interview that I did with him right here in the Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom studios. Gotta love Silverado. Make sure y'all check that out. Gotta love Silverado says, AD, you can't tell me if Biden get another 4 years in office, we're not going into a recession. Recession is already here, big dog. Classy Beat says, I'm sure you saw it already, but tap in with the vertical live streaming on YouTube. The live stream shows up in the shorts feed, and YouTube is pushing them heavy. I can't do it, big dog. I'm only doing my lives this way because I can engage with my people. They trying to do the same thing that TikTok is doing and Instagram is doing. We're not doing that, bro. Nah, we not doing that over there. Sister, I mean, I ain't knocking nobody else to do it, but I can't see myself doing it here on YouTube personally. Sister says, Mr. AD, do you think we are growing another generation of Dems with the illegal hand? Absolutely, 100%. 100%. It's a new voter class. Absolutely, I think that this is a new voter class. JP says, AD, do you think that there will be a global economic impact due to the death of Lord Jacob Rothschild? Did you see El Salvador's president CPAC speech? I did not see the speech, but we can go over it tomorrow. And no, I do not think that there will be a global economic impact due to the death of Lord Jacob Rothschild, but I'll have to do some more research before I could speak on that, all right? Quanumdrum 93 says, shout out to Anton for paying homage to Juvie, huh? Juvie the Great. Know your mate. We get that Nola clap. Shout out to Juvie the Great. Hey, shout out to Soldier Slim, Juvie the Great, BG on him. Yeah. Shout out to Soldier Slim down there and Boosie and everybody down there in Louisiana. Louisiana. Shout out to y'all down there. Conundrum 9 to 3 is in the building. My girl Messi says Anton. The chat said your phone number was 777-9-3-11. Y'all didn't think I knew that one. So y'all talking about the Pac version. No. 777-9-3-11. See, y'all be trying to stump me with all of this. Y'all think I'm not going to catch on. I'm quick with it. Listen, I am pop culture. Is that true? Just kidding. Just wanted to show you love into the chat. Y'all don't think that I know what is happening out here in these streets. Anton is an 80s baby, but a 90s maybe. 2000s made me. 2010 paid me. And 2020, we getting a little bit more lazy, but we going to do what we want to do because we crazy. Yeah. I love y'all. Shout out to Messi. Listen, if y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers, make sure, I made that up on the fly, by the way. If y'all not part of the Bag Chasers, make sure you tap into the Chasers. Link is in the description. You talking about the old school version? Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got the Q show tonight. I'm about to jump on a meeting. I got to get ready for it. I got 7 minutes to get ready for it, and we going to get it up. Listen, Millionaire Morning Show. Make sure you tell your friends and family. We going to get there. Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Make sure you get that Tiege pack. Don't be dusty. Don't be dusty. Yeah. All right, so listen, y'all. We got the Q show tonight. Make sure y'all pay attention to the Q show and tap in. It's going to be litty. It's going to be about 10 p.m. Eastern. We running it up. And this is the greatest morning show on earth. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends because we don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for always loving me. And I love you too. I love you back. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.